Coming up, a backyard overflowing with problems.
The crack is in the shell of the pool.
But that's not all. Not even close.
Pretty much any type of problem that could go wrong on an older pool, we have it right here.
Can workers breathe new life into a 30-year-old landscape? Or will doing it themselves prove to be too much for the homeowners?
Oh gosh, it's harder than it looks.
It'll be a sleek, modern place to chill if we can drag it out of the 70s.
Nobody said this was going to be easy. I'm Justin Cave, and this is Ground Breakers. Swimming pools are groovy, but if you're having a maintenance problem, they can be pretty frustrating. For today's project, we found a pool that has multiple issues. In fact, it has just about every problem a pool could possibly have. Now it's time for a redo to take this pool out of the 70s. Let's get trucking. Marianne Lee, you guys have a pool, but I understand that it's seen better days.
Oh yeah, we've lived here for about 11 years, and actually we've done nothing with the pool, and so that's why it looks the way it does.
We try to keep chlorine in it and keep the algae out of it, but other than that, it's kind of falling apart.
What's the biggest problem you're having with the pool?
I'd say the biggest problem, well, there's, I don't know, just so many.
We start with the most obvious one, a huge crack across the entire pool deck.
It actually looks like it's going into the pool.
Right, and that's where the problem really occurs, in that the pool's leaking.
So the pool is leaking, that sounds structural.
Oh, it is, it is. The crack is in the shell of the pool. And so what that means is we have a hose and we have to fill up the pool about once every week.
Wow. It's actually a big problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, besides the crack, I couldn't help but notice this planter water feature. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh man, this is ugly. This is what that is. And from the porch, this is what I see. This is my focal point, this ugly weed planter. It's got mold growing on it, it's got weeds, it's got critters.
Who knows what's in there?
Critters, snakes, I don't know what.
You want me to stick my hand in there and find out?
Well, you can, but there's no
I
way
dare you to stick your
You
hand
double
in there.
dog dare me?
I double dog dare you.
I'm not sticking mine
Careful.
in there.
Oh, no, just kidding.
Waiting to sink his teeth into this pool renovation is pool designer Jason Spencer.
Jason, the first time you came out here and saw Lee and Marianne's pool, what were you thinking?
I couldn't get past the planter. Rockfall, planter, whatever that is.
It's unsightly, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a little distracting, that's for sure.
What other problems are there?
Well, we have a multitude of problems. I mean, pretty much any type of problem that could go wrong on an older pool, we have it right here.
Like cracked waterline tile. Not just one or two tiles, but all of them. One long crack running the perimeter of the pool. Some tiles are just plain gone, and there's more. The plaster shell is peeling and flaking, and in places, just floating away.
There's so much wrong with it that there's almost not too much more that could go wrong without
It's
redoing
just
the whole
about
thing.
worst case scenario.
And, normally you might have, just one or two of these issues, not everything.
It will all be fixed with this renovation. The cracked concrete deck will be covered over with pavers for a more modern look, and a new spa will be added on to the existing pool.
Let's talk about adding the spa onto the pool.
Well, we're standing right in the location of the future spa, and the spa is actually the same level of this raised deck that we already have right here, which works out good because we're going to be able to tie it right into the existing pool shell itself.
And there's going to be a nice little cascade that goes from the spa to the pool.
Exactly. Since it's already raised up, it's the perfect height for that waterfall from there.
But cutting into the existing pool right here, that's the tough part of this job. This is the danger zone right here.
Well, we don't want to create any more cracks like that, so we have to be very careful. We just can't come in here and just start, hammering the thing and sledgehammering everything. We're going to have to be very careful.
What do you hope to do with the rest of the yard? You do have some existing plant material here.
There's plenty of plants here that have died too. We don't necessarily maintain them very well.
So you guys want a landscape that's got some more rhyme and reason to it.
Right, and it has to be easy because we don't know what to plant, we don't know where to plant it, and most of the time when we pick something to plant that we think looks good, it dies.
So you guys want something that's low main, if I take it. And that's okay because everybody says that.
Yeah, but,
Yes.
but we're not lying.
The crew begins by figuring out what works and what doesn't. That one-time waterfall, a little water, and a few good whacks, and the crew realizes it's a fountain.
It hadn't been on in 10 years.
But there's more water leaking out of the back than there is shooting into the pool. So it's hammer time. With the fountain out of the way, the crew also begins prepping for the spa that will sit in almost the same spot. First, saw cutting through the existing concrete pool deck. Then, getting the concrete out. Even if that means prying it up in tiny bits and pieces with their fingers. And by evening of the first day, the progress has Lee and Marianne hungry to see what's next, as they reveal on home video.
Here.
Cooked up this fabulous Chinese dinner.
Woohoo! And Molly and I have news for you.
Really? What's Molly think about this?
I don't think she likes it. She's wondering, hey, what happened to my pool?
They did a lot in a day.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
They did a lot.
I know, I was shocked as well.
But when we come back, before it can get better, it has to get worse.
We thought our backyard looked bad before.
And an ER procedure that could be just what the doctor ordered for the leaking pool.
And what we're going to do here is cut the crack out, and we're going to use what they call stitches.
Work has just begun in this backyard, but already it's an improvement as far as the homeowners are concerned.
They have drained our pool almost, just a little bit there. And one of our best features is our ugly planter is all gone. And what we have there looks better than our ugly planter. And this is where our spa is going to be. So this is amazing that we've had this much work in one day.
With the pool empty, the discolored plaster only emphasizes its poor condition and confirms that this renovation couldn't have waited much longer. On day 2, work on the new spa continues as a compact excavator digs through the hole in the deck. There's also prep work happening outside the spa. A track loader spreads new soil out behind the pool deck to raise the grade for new plants. On the pool itself, all outdated square corners are sawed, sledged, and jackhammered away for a more modern, rounded appearance. For more on what it takes to turn a normal yard into a knockout landscape, visit hgtv.com/groundbreakers. The updates are already starting to make an impression on the rest of the family.
This is Lee. He's home from college. He's looking at our new pool. So what do you think, Lee?
I think they tore it up pretty good. You can see all the little rotting spots that were in the bottom of the pool.
So, what do you think about us getting a spa right now?
I'm pretty excited about it. I'll be home for the summer. So hopefully they won't mind if me and my friends use it occasionally.
A few days later, work continues with the arrival of the gunite crew. To apply the gunite, the crew basically shoots dry concrete through a hose or gun. The raw ingredients are mixed together and pumped through the line. As it's shot out of the nozzle, it's mixed with pressurized water and blasted onto the spa shell. Soon, the shell is being shaped by hand, making this part of the process look more like sculpture than construction. The following week, the old pool shell is sandblasted clean to get it ready for its new surface. Crews have been doing a big-time facelift on a 30-year-old pool. Today, the doctor's in and he's prepping for surgery.
Because of the settling, this pool sustained a crack in the gunite. And what we're going to do here is cut the crack out, and we're going to use what they call stitches. Basically, we drill the holes into it, and the stitches lock in and pull together, keep the crack from spreading any further.
John begins by actually opening up the crack even wider and cleaning out some previous caulking attempts. Then he cuts and chisels out a recess in the pool shelf for the metal plate, the stitch. Holes are drilled into the masonry, an anchoring adhesive is injected, metal bolts are inserted, and the stitches are tightened to help close the crack forever. It's been 1 month of noisy, messy work, and it now has Lee and Marianne wondering when things will start to look better instead of worse.
We thought our backyard looked bad before. We had no idea how bad it could really look.
The good news is now we really don't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
Other than there's a couple of plants that we water just to make sure they're still alive once this whole thing's over with. But other than that, it is pretty much a mess.
Yeah. And our pool builder is also helping us with our landscape design, and we had a conference with him and talked about plants we liked and whatever. But now we're kind of anxious to see that design, as he's laid it all out, because we want to get started on making it look better.
One area that is looking better already is the new pool deck.
What about the pattern of the pavers themselves? It looks like you're using a two-piece, a square, and a rectangle.
Right, this is a 6x6, 6x9 combination. It's a cobblestone look. And also the homeowners decided to pick out 2 different colors and create a special mix. One of their pavers are more of a red and gray. The other one is a peach and gray. So what we don't want to have one area with a lot of red and then another area with a lot of peach. So it's very important to get a nice mix.
When we come back, Marianne finds an unwelcome addition to the landscape.
Look it, that's where the heater is. Don't you kind of wonder why it's in the middle of nowhere?
And then we all roll our sleeves up for a planting party.
Okay.
Find out who I bust making the #1 most common planting mistake and learn how to fix it. Work has been happening on this pool for over a month now. Marianne has discovered a new addition to the yard.
It looks like they installed the plumbing for the heater for the spa. And you'd think that would be a good thing, except for, look it, that's where the heater is. Don't you kind of wonder why it's in the middle of nowhere? So we have a call into them because we're wondering, hey, this doesn't look right.
But she doesn't exactly get the answer she wants from pool designer Jason Spencer.
I thought this would be closer to the fence or closer to the house.
Yeah, unfortunately, where it is at is actually going to be the best location for this. 2 reasons. You have a setback on the side right here.
Oh,
we can't
from
put
the
this
property
from the
line?
property line. The other thing, you have a very large overhang on your house.
Yeah, so if it
And-
were underneath there.
Well, then you'd be heating your attic because this is it's a 400,000 BTU gas heater, so it actually exhausts right out the top. So there's actually codes we have to stay out from underneath that. What we can do though is we could put some sort of shrub, a hedge to hide all this stuff so you don't see it.
All right.
But we'll just have to focus on shielding this from the pool.
All right, that will be the plan. I can't wait to see it.
A few days later, she's helping pick out plants for that plant at a local nursery.
Oh, Jason, I like everything in here. I like it's bright, I like that, I like this, I like that, I like those.
Wow, this is good then.
These are really pretty, they're bright. Where could we put them?
They're called gold mound, and they're little shrubs, and they do get to be about 2 feet tall or so. And with the purple, it'll be definitely a nice contrast.
Oh, and I love these purple. We have to get some of these too.
These are called Purple Queen, and one of the reasons why we really wanted to pick them out is because they're low maintenance. All you have to do once they start getting too long, just come up to them, they snap right off.
Wow, that looks easy.
That was easy. You guys can't kill them.
Back at the house, the pool is ready for its final watertight coating. A white plaster, or marcite, is mixed up and wheeled into the backyard, where it's dumped into the pool and spa. There, the crew trowels it smooth. Once the marcite is complete, the pool can be filled. It looks cool and refreshing, which will come in handy today. It's planting day, and Lee and Marianne have invited some friends over for a planting party.
Marianne, Lee, it's time to get started. Luckily, you got some help here, so everybody grab a shovel.
Okay, let's go.
It doesn't look like there's any shovels left.
Doing the planting themselves will save Lee and Marianne some labor costs on the project. which they've already put towards some larger, upsized plants. Maybe they went too big.
Wow. Nobody said this was going to be easy.
For helpful planting advice, hit the web at hgtv.com/groundbreakers. You'll see my video on how to do it right, and you'll learn what common mistakes to avoid, like the one Marianne makes.
Marianne, you planted this one a little deep. You want to keep the dirt off the crown of the plant so it doesn't kill it. Keep the crown exposed just a little, so you can do the same thing on this one here.
So this guy's wrong too.
Yeah, well, it's just planted a little too deep, so just get your hands down in there like that and keep the dirt off of the crown itself, like this, so that it doesn't suffocate it. But you're doing a good job. You're pretty dirty there.
Yeah.
Is this what you signed up for?
Oh gosh, it's harder than it looks.
Give me 5.
When we come back, see if that hard work pays off as the finished landscape is revealed. Plus, how a recurring problem with the garden was solved by looking up.
And that's a great lesson for people. Sometimes you can improve your landscape just by making improvements on your home, but you gotta be able to pinpoint the problem before you can solve it.
Before, this swimming pool was drowning in a sea of structural problems and outdated 70s style. Now, sleek curving lines, a raised spa, new paver pool deck, and a lush surrounding landscape bring this backyard back to the future with a splash.
Lee, Marianne, this was one seriously outdated pool when we started. What do you think now?
I love it. I absolutely love it. The pavers look great, the plantings are bright and colorful. It's very relaxing.
It's a big turnaround from what was here before. I remember the old rock planter particularly.
Yes, that's gone. She's a lot happier about that. And we've replaced it with a very nice looking spa. And the spa looks like it was always part of the pool, which is exactly what we wanted.
There were structural problems too, and the biggest one was the crack that was right here.
Yeah, it was. Not only was it unsightly, it was also causing the pool to leak water.
How do you know if a pool is leaking water if the crack isn't visible like it was here in Lee and Marianne's pool?
Well, you're right. Most leaks are not visible. So if you're losing water and you have to fill up your pool more than once a week, you should certainly have it checked out.
Jason, let's discuss the concept of a pool rehab versus a new pool build.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good example of being able to salvage everything that the homeowners liked and everything that, we didn't have to get rid of. They liked the shape of the pool. They did not like that rock feature. They wanted a spa. So we're able to keep a lot of the materials, like the shell of the pool, a lot of the plumbing, but probably the biggest cost savings was keeping the existing deck design and shape.
So the pool deck is a perfect example of when a rehab will be more cost effective because you actually put these pavers right on top of the old concrete.
Right, and this step and this raised deck over here, it's exactly where it was. So just by bringing in the extra bull nose and laying these thin pavers right on top of the existing concrete, you wouldn't even know it's even there.
So you didn't have to remove any of the old concrete or bring in a new sub-base to lay the pavers down.
Right, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
One of the things I noticed first about the old pool was how it looked like it was just kind of plopped right in the backyard. The new landscape has a lot of plants, and that really makes a big difference around the pool.
Yeah, we had this walkway here before, and just went all the way around here. It really didn't lead to anything, and we had very, very few plants in here. So with the addition of this nice patio, really gives a nice sitting area.
You really wanted to make this a new garden, and it's another destination in the yard. The walkway goes around, and it leads you up to the pool pump equipment. Tell me about what happened with the pool pump.
Well, the pool equipment was already there. The pump was already there. That's the location that it had to be. When adding the spa, we had to add the heater for the spa. We only had the one place to put it next to the pool equipment. So it was very important to use a viburnum hedge or some sort of hedge there to block the sound and the view.
It'll take some time, but these viburnums will grow taller and fuller, eventually screening off the view of the pool equipment and muffling the sound.
It's all about putting the right plant, planted the right way, in the right location, and I think this is a great example of it. You called in a few favors and brought some friends over to help you with the planning because you decided to do it yourself. It's a great way to save money on a big project like this with labor costs, but it's also a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but it was worth it, and it was fun, actually.
And it turned out nice. It turned out wonderfully.
Yes, and we got it done a lot quicker than we thought when we had as many people helping us.
On time and under budget.
Woohoo!
You've got some great color in the bed between the screened-in porch and the new pool decking, but it took a little bit of extra work to make this happen.
Right, we had gutters put in because anytime it rained, all the water would come off and pretty much wash this away. And I can tell you that if we didn't have gutters up there now, all that mulch would have already washed away to the side there.
And that's a great lesson for people. Sometimes you can improve your landscape just by making improvements on your home, but you gotta be able to pinpoint the problem before you can solve it. So I have to ask, what's your one favorite part of the new landscape?
Mine would have to be the color. The beautiful colors, the reds, the purples, the yellows. I love the color.
There's color everywhere, even all the way down to the color of the pavers on the pool deck.
Right, everything's beautiful.
Lee, what about you?
I think the fact that it looks like a spa or a hotel or a place to go, and it's right in our backyard.
What does Molly, the dog, think of the new pool?
Oh, she loves it. She's been in the pool bunches of times.
Well, you guys, I really enjoyed watching this pool get dragged out of the 70s, and I know you're going to enjoy it for years to come. So thanks for letting us tag along. And thank you for joining us on Ground Breakers. We'll see you next time.
So how you doing today, Paula?
Good. How about you?
So far, so good, you know?
Go. You go, Mom.